Officer Leon Gray stops Major Emma Collins, a military intelligence officer, during a routine traffic stop. He soon discovers her true mission and realizes he has been caught in a web of corruption and betrayal. Emma, Leon, and rookie Mia Lopez work together to expose the corrupt network. Amid suspense and danger, they secure justice, showing that courage, truth, and integrity can overcome deception and systemic wrongdoing. Before we begin, hit subscribe to Black Battles, where every story hits harder than truth itself. The night was unusually still. A pale moon hung above the empty stretch of highway that curved like a dark ribbon through the quiet outskirts of the city. The silence was broken only by the low hum of an engine, a sleek black Audi gliding smoothly through the mist. Behind the wheel sat Major Emma Collins, a woman of calm precision. Her posture was upright, her face half lit by the dashboard glow, revealing eyes that had seen too much of the world to be easily shaken. It was close to midnight. She was driving home from a classified meeting at the base, wearing civilian clothes to avoid attention. The road was empty, save for a pair of headlights that appeared in her rearview mirror. A patrol car closing in, its siren suddenly slicing through the stillness. Blue and red lights flashed behind her. Emma sighed, glancing at the clock. "Of course," she muttered softly, "because the night wasn't long enough already." She pulled over to the side of the road, rolling down the window halfway as the police cruiser came to a stop behind her. From it stepped Officer Leon Gray, young, confident, with the kind of arrogance that comes from too much authority and too little wisdom. His boots echoed against the asphalt as he approached, flashlight in hand, the beam slicing through the car's interior like a searchlight. "Evening, ma'am," he said, his tone sharp but casual. "Any idea how fast you were going?" "Within the limit, officer," Emma replied, her voice composed and low. "Is there a problem?" Leon tilted his head, his flashlight resting deliberately on her face. "This is a restricted neighborhood. Expensive area. A lot of stolen cars around lately. Mind telling me where you're headed in such a hurry?" Emma exhaled slowly. "Home," she said simply. He circled the vehicle like a predator assessing prey. "Nice car, yours?" "Yes," she answered. "Registered to you?" "Of course." There was a pause, long enough for suspicion to grow in his mind. Something about her calm confidence irritated him. People like her weren't supposed to sound so sure, he thought. Not here, not at night. "I'll need your license and registration," Leon said, his tone now firmer. Emma opened her bag, her movements deliberate. From within, she pulled a small black folder and her ID card. But as she did, something else inside the bag caught the officer's eye. A sealed file, marked with a small government insignia and a red confidential stamp barely visible under the dim light. "What's that?" Leon asked sharply. "It's classified," she said, closing her bag gently, "and not something you're authorized to inspect." Her calmness only fueled his irritation. "Classified?" he repeated, a smirk curling on his lips. "You expect me to believe that?" Emma met his gaze without flinching. "I'm not asking you to believe it, officer. I'm asking you to follow protocol." Leon's smirk disappeared. "Step out of the vehicle," he ordered. She hesitated for a fraction of a second, then obeyed. The cool air hit her face as she stood beside her car, hands visible, posture still collected. Leon kept his flashlight fixed on her as he radioed for backup. "This is Officer Gray requesting support," he said into his mic. "Possible suspect. Vehicle may be linked to federal transport activity." His voice carried confidence, but underneath it was the trembling thrill of control. For him, this was more than a stop. It was an opportunity to prove himself. Emma folded her arms. "You're making a mistake." Leon shot her a cold glance. "You people always say that." "I'm not you people, officer," she replied quietly. "And you're about to find that out." He frowned, ignoring her. "Pop the trunk. Without probable cause, that's a violation." "Pop the trunk," her jaw tightened. Then, with visible restraint, she pressed the trunk release. Inside, neatly arranged, were items that told stories of service and sacrifice. Military plaques, a folded uniform, a framed photo of an older man in the same blue uniform she once wore. Her father. A Medal of Valor rested beside the frame. Leon's flashlight paused over it. Something in his expression flickered, hesitation, maybe guilt, but it passed quickly. "What are you doing with all this?" he demanded. "Trying to fake being a soldier?" Emma stared at him, disbelief softening into pity. "You really don't know who you're talking to, do you?" Leon stepped closer, his voice low and threatening. "I know you're lying." "Then you'll have to live with that," she said. The silence between them was heavy, broken only by the faint buzz of crickets. Leon pulled out his phone, snapping pictures of the trunk, her car, and her face. Emma remained still, her pulse steady despite the humiliation tightening in her chest. She'd faced armed combat zones, but nothing ever felt as exhausting as this, the quiet violence of prejudice. After a moment, she reached into her coat pocket and discreetly tapped her phone screen twice. A faint red light blinked, a recording app silently capturing everything. "Backup's on the way," Leon said. "Don't move." "I wasn't planning to," she answered calmly. He turned away, pacing by his cruiser, radioing updates. She looked at his reflection in her side mirror, his posture stiff, his movements restless. He wanted to be the hero of a story he didn't understand. Emma looked back at the moon, whispering to herself, "Stay calm. Facts first. Justice later." Then she sent a quick encrypted message through her smartwatch, 5 simple words that would change everything. Code Raven. "I've been stopped." And somewhere miles away, in a secure federal facility, alarms began to blink on a silent screen. The silence after the sirens faded was almost unbearable. The hum of crickets had returned, but the air felt heavier now, thick with suspicion and something darker that neither of them could name. Officer Leon Gray stood by his cruiser, pretending to write something in his notepad, but his eyes kept darting toward the black Audi. His gut twisted with doubt. Something about that woman wasn't ordinary, too calm, too steady. Emma Collins, meanwhile, stood beside her car, the faint red blink of her smartwatch hidden beneath her sleeve. Every movement of hers was deliberate, composed, the trained restraint of someone used to commanding chaos. Leon's radio crackled suddenly, making them both flinch. "Unit 19 back up en route. ETA 3 minutes. He nodded to himself, tightening his jaw. "Good. Let's see how long that confidence lasts," he muttered under his breath. Emma heard him but didn't react. Her mind was elsewhere, calculating, waiting. Every second mattered now. Whoever received her message would trace her GPS within minutes. All she needed to do was buy time. Leon approached her again. "So, Major, if that's even real, mind telling me what this classified file in your car really is?" Her eyes met his steadily. "No, officer. I don't mind not telling you." That response froze him. "Excuse me?" "It means exactly what it sounds like," she said, her voice even, calm but razor-sharp. "You're out of your jurisdiction." Leon clenched his fists. "Out of my—" He laughed once, harshly. "Lady, you're standing on my road, in my city, and you think you get to decide what I can or can't do." Emma's expression didn't change. "I don't think it, Officer Gray. I know it." Her tone carried no arrogance, only certainty. That was what infuriated him the most. He stepped closer, flashlight flicking over her face. "You think flashing a fancy ID card makes you untouchable?" She took a step forward too, her voice dropping an octave. "No, but it means I've earned the right to be treated with respect, something you seem to have forgotten the meaning of." For a heartbeat, they stood inches apart, 2 storms waiting to break. Then the headlights appeared down the road. The backup had arrived. 2 police cruisers pulled up behind Leon's car. Out stepped Officer Mia Lopez, a rookie with curious eyes, and Sergeant Cole Barker, older, experienced, and known for following orders to the letter. Leon straightened up, regaining his swagger as they approached. "Evening, folks," Barker said, scanning the scene. "What have we got, Gray?" "Possible federal imposter," Leon replied quickly. "Claims to be military, carrying restricted documents. Refuses to cooperate." Emma opened her mouth, but Barker held up a hand. "Ma'am, we just need to verify your ID, that's all." She handed him her card without hesitation. "You can verify it, Sergeant. But I suggest you contact the Defense Verification Line, not your local dispatch." Barker arched a brow. "That sounds awfully specific." "Because you'll need clearance to read the seal," she replied. Mia Lopez, the younger officer, stepped closer. She had been silently observing Emma since she arrived. Something about the woman's stance, her posture, the subtle discipline in her voice. It didn't fit the picture Leon was painting. "Sir," Mia whispered to Leon, her uniform cap in the trunk. "I've seen that emblem before. Air Force intelligence. My cousin served." Leon shot her a glare. "Stay out of it, Lopez. You're here to back me, not doubt me." Mia's mouth snapped shut, but her unease deepened. Barker radioed the number Emma provided, stepping aside to speak quietly. Leon paced restlessly, glancing at Emma as if expecting her to crumble. She didn't move. Didn't even blink. After a moment, Barker turned back, his face pale. "Gray, she's legitimate." Leon froze. "What?" The ID checks out. "She's Major Emma Collins, U.S. Air Force Intelligence active status." Barker's voice had dropped to a low, uneasy tone. "And she's currently assigned to a classified counter-espionage operation under Pentagon clearance." The words hit Leon like a bullet. His throat went dry. "That can't be right," he stammered. She's hiding something. I saw that file." Barker's expression hardened. "That file isn't your concern anymore, officer." Emma finally spoke, her voice quiet but carrying unmistakable authority. "I told you I was not your suspect." Leon's jaw clenched. "You still refused an order from law enforcement." "No," she said. "I refused an unlawful search." For a second, the air went still again. The crickets stopped, the wind held its breath. Barker stepped forward. "Major Collins, you're free to go, ma'am. Sorry for the inconvenience." But Emma didn't move. Her gaze stayed fixed on Leon. "It's not over, Officer Gray," she said softly. "You've crossed a line you don't even understand." Leon's pulse raced. "Is that a threat?" "It's a fact." She got back into her car with quiet dignity. The engine purred to life, headlights illuminating Leon's tense face. Then she drove off into the night. No words, no haste, just purpose. As the taillights vanished, Leon turned toward Barker. "You're just letting her go after all that?" Barker's expression was grave. "Gray, do yourself a favor. Forget tonight ever happened." But he couldn't. Back in his cruiser, Leon stared at his reflection in the rearview mirror, replaying every second. Something about her parting words wouldn't leave his mind. "You've crossed a line you don't even understand." Then his phone buzzed. One new email, anonymous sender. He frowned, opening it. Inside was a single sentence. "You weren't wrong to stop her, but you were never supposed to find the file." And below that, a blurry photo attachment. His own dashcam footage from just minutes ago, already uploaded to an untraceable cloud. Leon's blood ran cold. Someone else was watching, someone who knew both of them. The city never truly slept, but tonight it seemed darker than usual, as if the shadows themselves were watching. Officer Leon Gray sat in his cruiser, the dashboard light casting a pale green hue over his anxious face. The email he had received was unlike anything he had encountered before. An anonymous sender, a cryptic message, and a blurry dashcam video showing him confronting Major Emma Collins. Every instinct screamed danger, but the officer's pride refused to back down. Leon replayed the video over and over. In the footage, Emma's calm, piercing eyes were unmistakable. Her movements were precise, almost rehearsed. Her words lingered. In his mind, "You've crossed a line you don't even understand." The more he watched, the more he realized that he wasn't just dealing with a defiant officer tonight. He was tangled in a web that was far bigger than his beat, far beyond his understanding. The phone buzzed again. Another anonymous message. This one was shorter. "You will be a part of something tonight. Watch closely." Leon's heart raced. Every shadow on the street outside the cruiser seemed menacing. He tried calling his supervisor, but there was no answer. The office lines were dead. It was as if the city itself had been cut off. A cold breeze drifted through the open window. Leon shivered, gripping the steering wheel tighter. He knew he had made mistakes tonight. Stopping Emma Collins without cause, inspecting her belongings, insisting on backup. It all felt like an ordinary night at first, but now every action seemed like a thread in a trap, and he had pulled it too tight. Meanwhile, miles away, Major Emma Collins had parked in an alley behind a nondescript warehouse. She stepped out of the Audi, removing her seatbelt with meticulous care. The night was quiet, almost eerily so, and she instinctively scanned her surroundings. Her fingers brushed the encrypted smartwatch she wore, tapping in a sequence only she knew. The red light blinked twice. Code Raven acknowledged. She whispered under her breath, "It's time." Inside the warehouse, dim lights flickered. Over a table filled with files, laptops, and communications equipment, a man in a gray hoodie looked up from a terminal. His face was partially hidden, but his eyes were sharp, calculating. "Miss Collins," he said, his voice calm but urgent. "You've been followed." Emma nodded, unafraid. "I expected as much. The officer tonight, Gray, he's now part of the chain. We need him to follow the sequence." The man raised an eyebrow. "He's volatile. He's unpredictable. How do we ensure he doesn't ruin the operation?" Emma's lips curved slightly. "Let him think he's in control. Pride will be his leash." Back on the city streets, Leon Gray's cruiser shuddered as his engine idled. Another message appeared on his phone. This time, it was a video attachment. He hesitated before opening it. The screen illuminated his face with a sudden, jarring brightness. And there she was, Emma Collins, but not in the Audi. She was walking confidently down a deserted alley, holding a small, inconspicuous folder. She stopped abruptly, looking directly into the camera. "You don't know yet what's at stake, Officer Gray," her voice said clearly. "But tonight you will see the truth. Watch carefully. Every choice you make now decides more than your fate." Leon's pulse surged. The message wasn't a threat. It was an invitation, and he hated it. He hated that he wanted to follow it. His pride screamed resistance, but curiosity, that dangerous human curiosity, tugged at him. He started the cruiser, following the GPS coordinates embedded in the video metadata. The streets blurred past him, each turn taking him further into unknown territory. The adrenaline sharpened his senses. Something about tonight felt like a test, not of law enforcement, but of morality, of courage. Meanwhile, Emma moved through the warehouse with quiet purpose. She placed the folder on the table, revealing documents, encrypted drives and photographs, evidence of a covert network operating under the guise of law enforcement. The very people Leon had sworn to trust were implicated. Her fingers lingered over one document, labeled with her own code name. She sighed. The sooner Gray sees this, the sooner he understands. At the same time, Officer Mia Lopez and Sergeant Barker were back at the precinct, confused and uneasy. Messages had been received too, untraceable, anonymous, hinting that tonight would expose something that would shake the department to its core. Both officers felt a creeping fear. They had thought Emma was a simple military officer, a civilian returning home. Now, every detail they knew about their world seemed incomplete. Leon turned a corner and stopped abruptly. The alley ahead was empty except for a single, dim light shining over a metal door. His gut twisted. He could turn back. He could report it, try to claim he was only following procedure. But something stronger than fear propelled him forward. Emma's voice came again, through another anonymous video now appearing on his phone. She was standing just inside the door. Her calm, authoritative tone was unwavering. "Tonight," she said, "you'll see who truly controls the city, and what it costs to serve justice. Choose carefully, Officer Gray. The wrong step and everything collapses." Leon swallowed hard. He realized with sudden clarity that this wasn't just about a traffic stop anymore. This was about loyalty, justice, and uncovering a truth no one else wanted revealed. He stepped out of the car, flashlight in hand, heart pounding. Every instinct screamed danger, yet every nerve in his body urged him onward. Tonight he would follow the stranger's message, and tonight, nothing would ever be the same. The metal door loomed ahead, dark and silent. Inside, secrets waited, and for the first time, Leon Gray understood the full weight of crossing paths with Major Emma Collins. The night had begun with a traffic stop, but it was about to become a battle of wits, courage, and survival. And somewhere, in the shadows, eyes watched, calculating, waiting. Leon Gray's boots echoed against the wet alley as he approached the metal door. The sound of dripping water from the cracked pavement punctuated each step. His flashlight cut through the darkness, illuminating peeling paint and graffiti-stained bricks, but nothing else. The door ahead seemed ordinary, yet it radiated the weight of secrets hidden inside. He paused, his pulse hammering. Every fiber of his being screamed caution. And yet, a strange, compelling force pulled him forward. Curiosity, fear, and a growing understanding that tonight would change everything. He had chased Emma Collins, but he was about to enter a world far beyond his comprehension. Leon's hand hovered over the handle. He exhaled slowly and pushed. The door creaked open, revealing a long corridor lined with flickering fluorescent lights. At the far end, standing confidently with her back straight, was Major Emma Collins. She had her folder clutched under her arm, her eyes sharp and commanding. "You made it," she said, voice calm, yet firm. "I wasn't sure you would." Leon swallowed hard. Why all this? The email and the videos, the secrecy? His voice was steady, but there was an edge of panic. "What is this place?" Emma stepped closer, her heels clicking against the concrete floor. "This place," she said, "is where the truth waits. And Officer Gray, it seems you've stumbled into something far bigger than yourself." Leon's jaw tightened. "I just did my job. I stopped you. I followed the procedure. That's all." "Procedure?" Emma's voice was gentle, almost sad. "Procedure is what keeps ordinary officers safe. But tonight you're not ordinary. You're standing in the middle of corruption, deceit, and lies that have festered for years. And the file in your cruiser, you saw only a fraction." Leon's mind raced. Every decision he'd made tonight, every order he'd given, every assumption about Emma suddenly felt naive. "You mean, this isn't about me? It's bigger than a traffic stop?" Emma nodded. "Much bigger. And that's why I need you to understand, Gray. You're not the enemy here, but some of the people you trust who wear the badge they are." Leon's chest tightened. "I don't understand. Who?" Emma placed the folder on a nearby table. Carefully, she opened it, revealing stacks of documents, photographs, and encrypted drives. He leaned closer, eyes widening as he saw images of high-ranking officials, officers in uniform, and what appeared to be falsified reports. The files exposed a network operating within law enforcement itself, officers misusing their authority, covering up illegal activities, manipulating evidence, and endangering lives. Leon's hands trembled. This can't be real." "It's real," Emma said softly. "And now you're part of it. The question is, what will you do?" Leon looked at her, anger and guilt warring inside him. "You're telling me, all this time I've been part of the problem?" "No," she corrected. "You've been used. Tonight you have a choice. Continue blindly or help bring the truth to light." Leon's mind flashed back to the traffic stop. The arrogance, the assumption, the humiliation. And now he saw it clearly. He had judged her, underestimated her, and almost derailed a mission of national importance. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him. Emma studied him quietly. "And one more thing," she said. "You are being watched. Every move you make, every decision is under surveillance. Someone doesn't want these files to see the light of day." Leon's stomach dropped. "Watched? Who?" She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she walked to a nearby console and pressed a button. A series of monitors flickered to life, displaying feeds from various locations. Security cameras, street corners, even inside precinct offices. He recognized a few familiar faces. The realization hit him like a physical blow. His own colleagues, some he trusted most, were involved. Emma's gaze returned to him, steady and unwavering. "Tonight, Gray, you will learn the cost of justice. And the first step is deciding where you stand." A sudden noise behind them made Leon jump. A shadow moving across the wall. Emma turned sharply, eyes narrowing. "They're here," she whispered. "And they'll do everything to stop us." Leon's heart raced. "We're trapped?" Emma shook her head. "Not if we act wisely. But you must trust me, and you must act fast. Every second we delay, the network strengthens its hold. Do you understand?" He nodded slowly, swallowing his fear. Yes, I understand. But why me? Emma's lips curved slightly. Because you stopped me. You challenged the system in your own way. And now, you have the chance to do what's right even if it means putting yourself at risk. Leon's mind spun, but he felt a strange clarity. He had been angry, ashamed, and confused all at once, but now he saw a path. Dangerous, uncertain, but just. The corridor was quiet again, the tension heavy. Emma gestured to the folder. First we secure these files. Then we expose the truth and Gray. Remember, as nothing in this world is what it seems. Trust your instincts. As Leon reached for the first set of encrypted drives, a metallic click echoed through the corridor. They both froze. Footsteps approached. Fast, calculated, intentional. The confrontation they had feared all night was about to begin. And for the first time, Leon Gray realized that he was no longer the one in control. The corridor's flickering lights cast long, jagged shadows along the walls. Major Emma Collins and Officer Leon Gray crouched behind a steel table. The encrypted drives spread between them. The air smelled of damp concrete and fear, a tangible tension that made every second feel like a heartbeat stretched too long. Fasten the drives into the secure system, Emma instructed quietly. Once we upload these, the entire network will be exposed. Leon's fingers trembled as he connected the drives, the hum of electronics filling the silence. For the first time tonight, he felt like he was contributing to something bigger than himself. Something just. Then came the sound. A soft, deliberate click of boots against concrete. Emma froze. "They're inside the building," she whispered. Her eyes scanned the shadows. "And Gray, someone you trust has turned," Leon frowned. "What? Who?" Before she could answer, a figure stepped into the dim light. It was Sergeant Cole Barker, his face calm, professional, but his eyes cold and unrecognizable. "Barker." Leon breathed. You were supposed to back us." Barker's lips twitched in the slightest, almost a smirk. "I was. And now I'm following orders from someone who's higher than any of us." "You were never supposed to reach this point." Leon's stomach sank. Betrayal cut sharper than any weapon. "Orders? What orders?" "From who?" Emma didn't flinch. "He's part of the network I warned you about. A puppet of the corruption we're here to expose. Every step we've taken has been watched." Leon's mind raced, piecing it together. The unusual silence at the precinct, the anonymous emails, the untraceable surveillance. And now, the man he trusted most within the department had turned against him. Barker raised his hand, revealing a small pistol. "Step away from the drives. You've caused enough trouble tonight. It ends here." Emma's eyes narrowed. "Barker, do you really think this will stop the truth? Do you think this folder, these files, can be buried with bullets?" He hesitated for the briefest second, enough to reveal cracks in his confidence. Emma noticed and seized it. "Gray," she whispered now. "Help me secure the drives." Leon's hands shook, but determination hardened his grip. He glanced at Barker, then at Emma. I'm with you," he said. "No matter what." Barker's finger twitched on the trigger. The tension was unbearable. The space between life and death reduced to heartbeats. Suddenly, the faintest sound echoed from the far end of the corridor, a metallic scraping, almost inaudible. Barker's head snapped toward it, distracted. Emma moved with precise speed, flipping a small switch on the secure system. A bright green light blinked on the drives. "Upload complete," she said, her voice calm but electric with triumph. Barker's eyes widened. "Impossible." How the monitors lining the room flickered to life, displaying surveillance feeds of precinct offices, police stations, and government facilities. Every corrupt officer and official involved in the network was exposed in real time. The files they had tried to hide for years were now visible to the Pentagon, the press, and federal oversight committees. Barker's face went pale. This can't happen." Emma stepped forward, her presence commanding. "It's happening. You all wanted control, but truth isn't controlled. And tonight the people see everything." Leon finally understood the depth of the betrayal, not just from Barker, but from the system he had trusted. His pride and illusions of authority were shattered. He turned to Emma. You knew all along, didn't you? That this was bigger than just a stop?" Emma nodded. "I did. And I trusted that the right people, even a reluctant officer like you, would choose what's right when it mattered." Barker's hand shook, realizing his betrayal had failed. You think this changes anything? They'll come after you. Emma's gaze hardened. Let them come. Every move they make is now recorded. Every attempt to silence us is evidence against them. At that moment, another figure appeared at the corridor entrance. Mia Lopez, the rookie officer. She had been silent throughout the night, following instructions from her conscience. Now she stepped forward, her hands raised but resolute. I'm with them, she said firmly, addressing both Barker and Leon. I saw what you tried to hide. I can't be part of it anymore. Barker's shoulders slumped. His network, his plans, all crumbling in front of him. He realized too late that loyalty built on fear and corruption was no match for courage and truth. Leon's chest heaved. The betrayal had shaken him to the core, but now he understood something essential. Courage didn't come from authority or rank. It came from choice. And tonight, he had chosen rightly. Emma walked past him, collecting the folder and the remaining drives. Gray, Lopez, follow me. We're not done. This network may be exposed, but it won't stop trying to survive. We move fast or they strike back. Leon nodded, adrenaline mixing with fear and determination. He glanced once at Barker, whose defeat was complete, and then forward at Emma. She was the calm in the storm, the strategist, the leader, the force he now trusted implicitly. As they stepped into the shadows of the warehouse, ready to disappear into the city streets, Emma spoke quietly. Tonight, betrayal revealed who we truly are. But the real fight begins now, and Gray, you'll see. Nothing in this world is black and white. Leon followed her, feeling the weight of truth settle on his shoulders. Betrayal had cut him, but it had also awakened him. And somewhere in the dark corners of the city, eyes were watching, calculating their next move. The network wasn't finished. The danger wasn't gone. It had only begun. The warehouse had fallen eerily silent, the air thick with tension. Outside, the city hummed with life, unaware of the storm brewing in a forgotten corner. Major Emma Collins, Officer Leon Gray, and Officer Mia Lopez crouched behind a row of crates, their breaths shallow, eyes darting toward the shadows. The betrayal of Sergeant Barker had exposed them, and they knew the corrupt network would strike back fast. Emma checked the folder in her hands again. Every page, every drive, every photograph was a ticking time bomb for the corrupt officers embedded within the system. They'll be here in minutes, she said quietly. We can't wait. We move now or it's over. Leon's heart pounded in his chest. He'd spent hours chasing a routine stop, believing he was in control. Now danger lurked around every corner, and the man he had trusted most, Barker, was an enemy. Which way? He asked, trying to steady his voice. Emma's eyes scanned the warehouse. There's a maintenance tunnel out the back. It leads to the underground parking lot across the street. Cameras won't cover it, but we need to move fast. Mia Lopez, still shaken from Barker's betrayal, swallowed hard. Are we sure this isn't a trap? Emma gave her a firm, reassuring glance. Every plan carries risk, officer. But hesitation will kill us faster than bullets. Follow my lead. They moved as one, shadows slipping silently between crates. Emma led the way, her military precision evident in every step. Leon's pulse raced, but he followed, his flashlight off, senses alert. Mia's breathing was shallow, but she kept pace, understanding that tonight, survival depended on unity. As they neared the maintenance tunnel, a sudden noise made Leon freeze, a metallic scraping against concrete from behind. He signaled to stop, pressing a hand against Mia's back. Emma paused, listening, her face calm but eyes alert. A moment passed. Then a voice echoed from the darkness. Don't move, Collins. Leon's stomach tightened. Another figure emerged from the shadows, silhouetted by the faint overhead lights. Recognized the badge glinting in the dim glow. Another officer, but not one they had expected. Lieutenant Marcus Hale, an intelligence officer Emma had trusted before tonight. Emma's jaw tightened. Hale, she said, her voice controlled but cold. He stepped closer, weapon raised. I'm sorry, Emma, I have orders. The drives now. Leon felt a jolt of disbelief. Another betrayal. Orders again? How many of you are working against us? Emma's eyes remained steady. Gray, keep your focus. This isn't just about trust, it's about survival. We move when I give the signal. Hale advanced cautiously, but Emma's hand shot out, pressing a small button on the side of the folder. A sharp, blinding flash erupted from a built-in miniature device. Smoke and sparks filled the corridor, creating chaos. Hale staggered back, momentarily blinded. "Go!" Emma shouted. They sprinted toward the tunnel, adrenaline surging through their veins. Leon's lungs burned, but he pushed forward, instinct and training taking over. The tunnel was narrow and damp, water dripping from the ceiling, echoing with every step. Emma led confidently, her calm directing them through every turn, every twist. Halfway through, they paused at a junction. Leon's flashlight illuminated a wall covered with schematics of city surveillance, precinct layouts, and hidden safe houses. She knew all of this, Leon whispered under his breath, awe and fear mixing. She planned for every move. Emma's voice cut through the tunnel. "It's why I've survived this long." "But Gray, now you understand. The traffic stop wasn't random. It was a test, to see if you could follow protocol, maintain judgment under pressure, and, most importantly, choose the truth when it mattered." Leon swallowed hard. "And I understand now. But the betrayals, how can you keep going knowing everyone around you can turn?" Emma slowed, her eyes meeting his. "Because the truth matters more than fear, Gray. Because justice isn't about comfort. It's about action. And tonight we act." Finally, they emerged into the underground parking lot. Emma's car waited, engine quietly running. But before they could approach, headlights appeared at the tunnel's mouth. Multiple vehicles, armored and menacing, moving fast. The corrupt network had found them. Emma assessed the scene. "They'll block the exits. We split. Take the east ramp. I'll lead the decoy." Leon hesitated. "Alone?" Emma shook her head. "No one is alone. Just trust me. Now go!" Mia grabbed his arm. "We're doing this together." With that, Leon and Mia took the east ramp, Tyrus screeching as they sped into the night. Behind them, Emma's decoy maneuvers drew the pursuing vehicles away, her precision driving a perfect distraction. As the city lights swallowed them, Leon looked at Mia. She's incredible. She's been planning this for years." Mia nodded, still catching her breath. "And we're just beginning to understand the stakes." Leon's phone buzzed. Another encrypted message from Emma. He opened it. "You've made it this far. But the hardest choices are ahead. Betrayal runs deep. The revelation will shake everything you know. Trust yourself." Leon's heart pounded. He realized that tonight had already changed him. The traffic stop, the betrayal, the escape. It was all a prelude to something monumental. And with Emma Collins leading them, he finally understood the truth. Courage, loyalty, and action would define the outcome of this battle. Not rank, badge, or fear. Somewhere behind them, the city pulsed with quiet life, unaware that a secret war had begun in its shadows. And as they drove through the dark streets, Leon knew this was only the beginning. The revelation was coming. And when it did, nothing, no lie, no cover-up, no betrayal, would survive unscathed. The city skyline glowed faintly against the night, casting long shadows over the abandoned warehouse district. Major Emma Collins, Officer Leon Gray, and Officer Mia Lopez had arrived at the final location, a secluded high-rise used as the secret hub for the corrupt network. Their vehicles were hidden, engines off, hearts racing, adrenaline sharpening every sense. The files they carried were evidence enough to topple careers, expose lies, and reveal the depth of betrayal woven through the law enforcement system. Tonight, nothing would remain hidden. Emma crouched beside a set of ventilation ducts leading inside. "This is it," she whispered, eyes scanning the building. "The masterminds are inside. Barker, Hale, and several others are coordinating from the top floor. We go in carefully. No mistakes." Leon adjusted his grip on his sidearm. "We've come too far to hold back. But if this goes wrong..." His voice trailed off, the weight of the mission pressing on him. Emma placed a firm hand on his shoulder. "It won't go wrong. Not if we move smart, trust each other, and remember why we're here." Mia nodded, swallowing her fear. "Let's finish this." They slipped through the ducts and descended into the inner corridors of the high-rise. Every hallway they passed was lined with surveillance cameras and security personnel. Emma moved with precision, taking out cameras and silently incapacitating guards where needed. Leon and Mia followed, their earlier fears replaced by focus and determination. The air was thick with tension, every shadow a potential threat, every sound a warning. Finally, they reached the top floor. The room beyond the final door was alive with the buzz of electronics. Multiple monitors showing city feeds, communications between corrupt officers, and a wall of evidence that had been carefully hidden. At the center of it all stood Sergeant Barker, his face twisted in anger, flanked by Lieutenant Marcus Hale and two others. The betrayal of the past nights had led here, the confrontation that would decide everything. Emma stepped into the room calmly, folder in hand. "It ends tonight," she said, her voice steady and unwavering. Barker's eyes narrowed. "You think you can just walk in and destroy everything we've built? Do you even understand the power you're challenging?" Leon stepped forward, shoulder squared. "It's not power. It's corruption, and we're here to end it." Hale smirked. "You underestimate us. You have no idea what you're walking into." Emma's gaze sharpened. "And you underestimate the truth. The evidence we have isn't just enough to ruin you. It's enough to bring the system to account. Every lie, every bribe, every abuse of authority is now on record, and it's going to see the light." In an instant, the room erupted. Barker lunged at Emma, but Leon tackled him, the two crashing into a table, knocking over monitors and papers. Sparks flew as wires ripped from the walls. Mia swung a metal rod at Hale, forcing him back toward a console. The chaos was deafening. Shouts, crashing equipment, alarms blaring. Amidst the chaos, Emma inserted the encrypted drives into the central system. Green lights blinked. The upload had begun. Every corrupt officer, every hidden operation, every falsified report, now visible to federal oversight, the Pentagon, and the media. Hale's face paled. "No, this isn't possible." Emma moved with calm precision, disarming him and holding him at gunpoint. "It's over," she said. "The network you built is finished. Tonight, justice wins." Barker struggled beneath Leon's grip, but it was futile. "You think this changes anything?" "There are others, more powerful than me." Emma shook her head. "They're powerless without you. And tonight proves that even the strongest corruption can fall when faced with truth, courage, and action." The sound of sirens grew distant. Backup from federal agencies had been dispatched once the upload began. Federal agents now flooded the building, securing all exits and detaining the corrupt officers. Emma, Leon, and Mia watched as the network they had exposed crumbled in real time. Leon exhaled deeply, the weight of the past nights finally catching up to him. I never thought a traffic stop would lead to this." Emma allowed herself a small smile. "Neither did I. But that's why we can't underestimate the ordinary moments. They reveal the extraordinary truths." Mia looked around the room at the detained officers, the scattered files, the chaos of the final battle. "It's over," she whispered. Emma's gaze softened as she looked at them both. "Not over, Mia. The system is alive and vigilance is eternal. But tonight we've proven something. Courage, truth, and accountability are stronger than fear, betrayal, and corruption." Leon nodded, feeling a strange sense of peace wash over him. "And we're the ones who chose to act." Emma turned to face the city skyline outside the window. The first light of dawn began to creep over the horizon, illuminating a city that had no idea how close it had been to darkness. She whispered quietly, almost to herself, "The fight continues. But tonight justice has a voice." Leon stepped beside her, understanding at last. The journey that began with a simple traffic stop had evolved into a battle that tested loyalty, courage, and morality. And through it all, Major Emma Collins had led with unwavering integrity, proving that one person's commitment to truth could ignite change far greater than anyone imagined. As the sun rose, the city seemed to exhale, unaware of the battle fought in its shadows. The files were secure, the network dismantled, and lives forever altered. Emma turned to Leon and Mia, her expression firm but proud. "We did what had to be done. Remember this night. Remember the cost of inaction, and never forget that truth always finds a way." Leon and Mia nodded, the weight of their journey finally settling into resolve. And in that quiet, victorious moment, one truth became clear: courage, action, and unwavering integrity could shine brighter than the darkest conspiracy. The city had survived the night, and so had they. Final words: Justice, courage, and truth prevail, even in the face of betrayal, danger, and corruption. One person's resolve can ignite change, and the choices we make define the world we leave behind.